You'll see on the slide in front of you some statistics about the UWA MBA program, about the business school itself, and then about UWA as a whole. We're very proud of those statistics that feed into the rankings. The UWA MBA program being ranked #1 in Western Australia, both on the QS global rankings and also on the Fin Review biannual BOSS rankings. The business school itself having the highest starting salaries in Australia, and the two factors are not mutually exclusive in the fact that those highest starting salaries feed into the positive rankings. And then the fact that UWA as a group of 8 university in Australia, but also sits within the top 100 universities globally as revealed by the QS rankings as well. But the numbers themselves don't tell the full story. What we have most pride in around the UWA MBA program is that we promise to make a special effort for each individual MBA candidate. And every day, I would say, one's interacting directly with MBAs on a one-on-one basis, trying to help them get the best experience through the program. So we're proud of that. There's a great collegiate culture between the faculty, professional staff, and the actual MBA candidates themselves, and also graduate certificate candidates. So again, we're pleased of that positive can-do culture. Some other information for you. Around about 80% of the faculty that you will be exposed to in the graduate certificates and MBA have PhDs. They're conducting their own research, and they're bringing that research into the actual MBA program. So it's also a rigorous research-led degree program. That's from the academic side. On the practical side, around about 3/4 of the faculty are actively practicing, whether as consultants, whether as board members, in the Perth business community at the present time. So it's not only a program with academic rigor, it's a program with practical application where you'll actually see people with contemporary business practice in the Perth community. And that's assisted by our phenomenal UWA Business School Advisory Board that really reads as the who's who of the senior decision makers in the Perth business community, and they deliver masterclasses into the program. Finally, I'm sat within the MBA quarter here. There's a dedicated area for MBAs within the business school, and the facilities are absolutely first class. As to the next slide, that's about who we are. Now let me speak a little bit to who you are as the actual cohort of people going through the grad cert and MBA programs. And you see some pictures of our MBA class and alumni on screen in front of you. You also see a series of bullet points, and essentially the MBA and graduate certificate cohort are drawn from all business sectors within the West Australian business community and all different types of functional expertise within those sectors. So you see pretty much the full spread of business activity, and you'll get to meet those people within the program. A little bit in terms of really further telling you who you will meet within the program. Typical work experience on the program around the 10-year mark. Typically that means the typical ages on average in the early 30s on the program. Diversity, gender diversity. Some programs have parity, individual units and individual grad cert programs. Overall though, about 60% male, about 40% female. And one critical point for you to take away is that you'll learn as much from the people sitting next to you within the lecture theatres and in the group work that you do as part of the MBA and graduate certificate program as you'll actually learn from the faculty themselves. I'm sure you'll hear that from Sam and from Bindi later in the presentation, who'll talk to you about their own experiences on the MBA program. I'd like to now just move to focus specifically on the graduate certificates and how those feed into the MBA. They can either be taken on a standalone basis. A graduate certificate is 4 units of study The full MBA is 12 units of study. And so therefore, if you so choose, you can do a graduate certificate and then count those 4 units, get the graduate certificate qualification, and count those 4 units towards carrying on into the MBA program. Rest assured, for those that go into the graduate certificate programs, you sit in the same classrooms, you see the same lectures as do the full MBA. So there's one cohort, there's no distinction between the sort of 2 groups, so to speak. The flagship graduate certificate is the Graduate Certificate of Business. You'll see the core units on the right-hand bullet points on the slide in front of you: accounting, economics, org behavior, and marketing. All of those units can be taken face-to-face at the business school, but they can also, all of those units are available online for those whose work commitments take them away from Perth at a given point in time. On the left-hand side, you see some of the additional opportunities available to people that come into both the Graduate Certificate of Business and the MBA, things such as careers support and attendance at networking events, for example. So we're very proud of the Graduate Certificate of Business. It's the flagship graduate certificate. We also have an entry pathway there for people that have not done a first degree and that are coming in with business experience. We've benchmarked how those people do in the program, and we're very pleased to say that people coming in just with business experience but not with a first degree statistically do just as well as those coming in with a first degree. So rest assured that you will go well within the program. However, we do watch out for people that are slightly anxious about coming to a university environment for the first time, and we assist them individually to get through the first couple of units. We don't only just have one graduate certificate, we actually have a whole suite of graduate certificates, and we've benchmarked the offerings we have linked to what we call the UWA MBA suite, which includes all of the graduate certificates you see on the slide in front of you. They're all 4 units, but you'll notice that these are in specialist areas, whether that's functional areas such as leadership, entrepreneurship and innovation, or whether it's domain-based, industry sector-based graduate certificates such as social impact, minerals and energy, and health leadership. So we're very proud of that. The level of choice offered, we believe, is the greatest level of choice across any Australian MBA suite of programs. The way these specialist graduate certificates work, very similar to the Graduate Certificate of Business. You do 4 units in the area of speciality first. That means you qualify for the graduate certificate in your particular area of interest, but you can also count those 4 units should you wish to articulate on into the main MBA program. The hurdle is just to achieve a 65% weighted average mark to be able to make that transition over. One point you'll notice there with the asterisk, that we've now managed to get the graduate certificate in entrepreneurship and innovation qualified as available for Commonwealth supported places, CSP. So that increases the affordability of the graduate certificate even further. So with that, I'll now hand you over to Paul to speak to some aspects of the detail of the MBA Flexible and MBA Intensive streams of completing the UWA MBA. Thanks.
Thanks, Beck. Thanks, Alan. Yeah, Alan's gone through the graduate certificate programs that we offer, and a lot of students actually come in through that, use that as a pathway into the MBA program. So once you've completed a graduate certificate, if you want to choose that as a pathway into the MBA program, then you take those 4 units of credit with you, and then in completing the MBA program, you have another 8 units to complete. Now, as you can see on the screen here, we've got a flexible MBA program and an intensive MBA program. Both require 12 units of study. In both programs, classes are at night or on a Friday and Saturday. Some of our units are taught over full days. So if you choose one of those units, then you will be studying generally on a Friday and Saturday. The intensive does not have day classes. So that allows students in the intensive program to maintain employment and still study at night or Friday and Saturdays. Both programs share electives, so it doesn't matter which program you're in, you still have the networking opportunity of the largest MBA program in WA. And then also the MBA Intensive does have some dedicated core units. So the MBA program is what we call a cohort-based program. So you start with 30 to 35 students and you go through the entire program with that cohort. And to maintain that cohort feel, the intensive program does have some dedicated core units. Other core units are shared with students out of the flexible program. And then Alan's already mentioned this one, but within the MBA program, there's a large number of fantastic range of elective units. And what we've done over time is we've really listened to the students in terms of what they want in their MBA program in terms of electives. The flexible program, it's got an intake each trimester, so that's 3 times a year, whereas the intensive program, because it's a cohort-based experience, there's only 1 intake a year, and that's in January of each year. But what some students have been doing recently is starting off in the flexible program and then transitioning into the intensive, which is definitely possible. That's true for all master's degrees. You can actually take credits, all master's degrees at UWA, I was going to say. You can take credits from one program to another. So people have been starting off in the flexible if they want to start their study in August, do a couple of units in the flexible program and then transition into the intensive. The beauty of being able to do that is you don't have to wait until January if you want to actually go into the intensive program. The intensive program is more difficult to get into. It does require you to sit a GMAT and also sit an interview. It's just a short interview, and basically in the interview we're assessing your suitability for the program and your desire to get into the intensive program. So with the intensive, we are looking for 30 to 35 outstanding MBA students each year. Now, in terms of the intensive, it does have a few elements that the flexible program doesn't have. And we acknowledge that the intensive program for everyone. Some people don't want the other features of the intensive program. They just want the flexible program. But just running through it, so what does the intensive program have that the flexible program doesn't have? Well, it has an authentic leadership program, and that is built around a 13th unit called Leading Self, Leading Others, which I would really recommend every student do. It is an elective in the flexible, but Leading Self, Leading Others is one of our most popular units. And personally, I think every MBA student should do that unit. But in the intensive, it's not one of your Leading Self, Leading Others within the Authentic Leadership Program, isn't one of your 12 coursework units. It's actually an additional 13th unit. Within the Authentic Leadership Program, there's a range of other leadership development activities as well. So this program is a senior mentor within, senior industry mentor within the program. For example, if you're currently in an engineering role and you are looking to move into a consulting role, then we would look at one of the managing partners at one of the big consulting firms as a mentor for you. And we've certainly got managing partners of a couple of consulting firms, as well as a couple of CEOs at the moment as mentors. There's extensive career services support. So we do have a dedicated career services manager within the business school just for MBA programs. Many other MBA programs, in terms of career services, they'll just send you to the university-wide career services centre. Personally, we don't think that's good enough, so we have a dedicated career services manager who looks after the MBA students 5 days a week. The intensive program has a strategic consulting project as well, where groups of students get together and they work with the company on a consulting project and deliver the results of that consulting program project to company and to academic staff within the business school as well. So that's really the main differences with the intensive. It is a very attractive program, but so is the flexible. The flexible does give you a little bit more flexibility. The MBA intensive, you need to move through your course of study at a reasonable pace. With the flexible, however, you can take a year off. You can take 18 months off and come back to your study. So you do have that degree of flexibility. Okay, I'll move on to the next slide. So why UWA MBA? Now, This is a funny. I put this list together the other day after thinking back through all of the conversations I've had to incoming MBA students in recent years, students that have just come into the program and also students that have graduated as well. And I've asked them, well, why did you choose the UWA MBA? And the first one was the close industry link. Not until you get within one of our programs, either the MBA or the Grad Cert, that you really get to appreciate the industry links that we have. They play roles as mentors in the MBA intensive program. We have very senior industry people coming in and giving master classes each year, and then also international study tours as well. So we've got fantastic links internationally, and when we take students away on one of our international study tours, we use those links to get into some of the biggest companies in the world. Actually, we took Silicon Valley, Stanford University, San Francisco, Silicon Valley a couple of years ago, and did a tour of the Tesla factory, which was absolutely incredible. And the students really loved the day of lectures at Stanford University. Second one, a large student body. Most students that come into the program talk to me about the networking opportunities. So in selecting a program, you want to go into a program that is quite large, but still has very high entry standards. And we've certainly got that at UWA with the largest MBA program in WA. Another unique feature of the UWA MBA program, and when I'm saying MBA, I mean graduate certificates as well. I'm just shortening things down. We do have lifelong learning through the Graduate Management Association. So you come through, you do a UWA MBA, and then after that, there's an opportunity for you to join the Graduate Management Association. And then for the rest of your career, you can interact with the Graduate Management Association and continue your networking. And this is just an MBA-based, UWA MBA-based association. So you can continue. They run workshops, masterclasses, seminars. They run an annual ball. There's opportunities to actually engage with the association as well in terms of helping organise events as well. Alan's already mentioned that UWA is a top 100 university, and that really gives our students access to some of the best universities in the world. So what we have at UWA is an arrangement with a lot of outstanding universities around the world. And we have this arrangement where you can actually enroll in a unit at another university and bring credit for the completion of that university back to UWA. But the arrangement has been formalised, so it's very easy to apply and get accepted. You just do that through the Student Centre at UWA. You also have the opportunity of approaching those universities directly and doing one of their units and having that unit credited back, but it's just a lot more difficult. So because of our connections at UWA with other top universities around the world, we've been able to forge these fantastic links that benefit our students. We also have been told that we've got world-class senior academic staff teaching on the MBA program with extensive industry experience. We don't have junior academics teaching on our MBA program. For example, I've been teaching MBA students for about 15 years, and before that I was teaching at UWA for about 10 years. And all of my peers in terms of the MBA program have similar amounts of teaching experience and industry experience as well. The coursework is quite rigorous and highly applied at UWA. So we pitch the level of our coursework at an appropriate level. It's certainly not, it certainly has the classroom has the feel of a master's level course. And once you get into the classroom, you'll sense that straight away. There is quite a lot of preparation involved. What you learn is very relevant, very applied, and it is quite a step up over any coursework that you would have done at the undergraduate level as well. And then finally on this list, many students have said they simply want UWA on their CV. And after thinking about it, it kind of makes sense, because it doesn't matter where you go in the world, because of UWA's reputation globally, people will know the name UWA and kind of appreciate that you have an MBA from one of the top 100 universities in the world, and certainly the best, the most highly ranked university in WA, and the most highly ranked business school in UWA as well. But all of that's fantastic. But if I take my UWA hat off for a second, what do you really need to look out for in selecting an MBA program? As I said, I've been teaching MBA students for 15 years now. Excuse me. I would say the most important, all of those factors there are important, but I would say the most important is staff quality and experience and student quality and experience. I can't emphasize that enough. So you need to select a program where you believe you will be in the classroom with high caliber, the highest caliber students in WA, interacting with the highest caliber staff in WA. Now, Alan has already mentioned the rankings of the UWA MBA. We have the BOSS ranking. We are ranked #1 in WA in that ranking by quite some margin. And the BOSS ranking actually has a heavy weighting towards student experience within the program. So obviously doing so well in that BOSS ranking means that our students are very, very happy with both the fellow students and the staff teaching the program. And then the QS ranking, we're also ranked highly in the QS ranking, which is a global ranking of MBA programs, and that's based upon staff quality. So once again, in the QS ranking, we're the top ranked MBA program in Western Australia. So really, I think those two rankings, for me, show everyone that our staff and our students are of outstanding quality,